Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm your game bastard, Kyle.
I am Todd.
I'm Corey.
I'm Austin.
Today we are delving back into the dark history of England's past to 1983.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Brexit.
No, we are actually playing Regency Cthulhu. This is not expansion, I guess, a divergence from the standard Call of Cthulhu that takes place in the Lovecraftian era of the early 20s.
It's like Loki. There's a bunch of different ones now.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a Call of Cthulhu in Jane Austen's England, the Regency period, early 1800s. And this is a product put out by Chaosium.
Yeah, so this is just a spin-off of their standard game. All the rules are the same.
Correct. This uses the standard Call of Cthulhu rules, if you're familiar with those. If you're not, it is a D100 system, commonly called a percentile system. You want to roll low. You'll have a skill like firearms or something, and if you have a 75 in it, which would be quite good, you roll under, and you just shot something. If you roll, I think it's what is it also divided like to half and fifths or something?
Yes, I believe that's to gauge the rating of your success. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right. And guns do more damage if you roll better.
Oh, yeah. And if you load them first.
Important tip, Corey.
Little science.
Good. Yeah.
So it's basic Call of Cthulhu rules, I think, with a couple of Jane Austen specifics thrown in. Kyle, I think, like good society, there is a reputation mechanic. Are we going to be using that?
No.
Okay.
Because I want your characters to succeed.
Okay.
And I know none of you can control your impulses.
We have enough trouble with eldritch horrors. We don't also have to have the difficulty of if Aldrich doesn't return my love, I can't fire the shot.
If I played the NPCs like actual 19th century English Georgians, all the three of you would be deported to France in about an hour and a half.
That's fair.
Congratulations, gentlemen. You just joined Sharp's Rifles. You'll be going to the front. So we're playing. This will be the adventure called The Long Corridor. It's in the Regency Cthulhu book.
And there's this actually, do you guys realize the connection between this and our Transformers art?
Oh, God, no, I don't.
H.P. Lovecraft, the HP stands for Hewlett-Packard. A lot of people don't know this.
Thank you.
Hewlett-Packard Lovecraft, yeah.
He actually invented the printer.
Well, they're evil.
Exactly.
And possessed by ancient,
And then he tried to
terrible powers.
use it and then immediately leapt out a window.
Went insane. Yeah. All right, let's talk about characters. Austin, who are you playing?
Well, my name is Mr. James Bennett, gentleman poet. His stats are actually okay, I think. There's a couple of funny things in the skill. So I have an English skill of just 70. So, Kyle, I take that to mean that, like, if I were to roll like a 90-something on a communications check, like, it just comes out as fucking gibberish.
You just break into German.
Just start speaking in tongues. No, but he's very skilled with the words. Just returned from university, inspired by the arts and the writings he's been introduced to, and want to share it with the world. I will say up front, I believe all of our characters are, this is something Kyle specified, we are members of a paranormal investigation group.
What is the name of that group, Kyle?
It's called the Examination Association.
Or
T.
Yes.
Fuck
Get it?
off.
Yeah. Regency, England, folks. So anyway, yeah, so to skip a lot of the expository stuff of us not knowing about monsters and...
I will say that I'm very happy that they put that in the rule book.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So in the standard Call of Cthulhu, you're just average people that for some reason are down with investigating nightmares.
Yeah.
But in this one, you're all part of the Examination Association.
Cool.
So, Corey, tell me about your character.
I'm playing Miss Emma Wentworth. She's a gentlewoman, 17 years old, a young, pretty white girl is how she's described here. So she's hot. That's pretty much her whole character.
She would be played by Helena Bonham Carter in young Helena back in the day.
Emma feels sad that her older sister isn't married, yet she's also annoyed that her sister's tardiness is taking her best years from her.
Why doesn't she mind her own fucking business?
Well, because she's always been told to wait for her older sister to marry first, but now she's done waiting. She's like a Little Caesar's pizza. She is hot and ready. If you know what I mean. Yeah. And that's pretty much her. I mean, she's a proper young lady. out for marriage.
But horned up.
Horned.
Todd, tell me about your completely fine character.
Well, my name is the Reverend Samuel Jennings. I'm originally from America. I'm a man of the Lord and filled with the Holy Spirit. Now, why did I come to England, you might ask? Well, it was because I was very heartbroken. My sister Grace passed away from what they said was influenza. However, it is my belief that it was President James Madison and Big Quinine
Oh, my God.
that took my beloved sister away from me. So I left the country and I came here to England to spread the word of the Lord.
And to
Amen.
fight Pfizer.
Well, let me just say that I firmly believe that prayer heals and medication kills.
God, I'm glad we've evolved away from that kind of thought.
Thank God.
This is definitely a Lovecraft character.
Yeah.
Our scene opens in London. A dismal, dreary night. Drizzling rain. In early September 1813. Outside Wint House, a upper-middle-class estate, newly built in the city. The glow of gas lamps shine out into the street. And inside one of those cozy rooms full of rich mahogany and treasures stolen from around the world. The gentleman Count Patrick Ball is entertaining 3 guests. 3 of his fellow tea members. Of course, you're English. It's in the evening, so you're drinking whiskey. And heavy alcohol. Tea is for afternoons. The Count, while above your class, is a full member of the Examination Association and understands the gravity of the horrors facing humanity on this planet. And he has an errand for you. You're all sitting around this table, cigars, and the Count says, well, I'll be sending you to Tarryford.
What the hell kind of name is Terraford?
This is England.
Oh, right.
Virtually everything's named like that.
Speaking of names, I'm quite taken with Ball, if you know what I mean.
Damn it, woman.
All these British names, they crack me up, from being, because as most of you know, I am from America. And, like the place where my church is called Bungford. That's funny. That's funny right there.
While we're on the topic of names, I'd like to raise a query with our group about our collective name, which I don't think much of. T. I mean...
Quite like the name T. And when you become a landed English lord, full of the rights and duties of a count, you can name your fucking cult club whatever the fuck you want. But as long as I'm Count Patrick Ball, we're gonna fucking name it the Examination Association Tea, because I like fucking tea.
Oh, he can lump my tea anytime.
God damn it.
Oh, what do you want us to do?
Go to Tarryford. There's been some auspicious prophecies around this village of Tarryford, in a place called Northlake Hall. Family of some minor aristocratic bent, led by Sir James Northlake.
Single?
No, he's, I believe happily married. It has a single child, a girl.
The child is single then.
Yes, 16-year-old girl.
This is the 1800s.
Yeah. But a number of years ago, a mad woman, a witch, Carissa Holbmeyer, the Mad Holby, they called her. Some prophecy about Northlake opening into the dark realm and disgorging horrors upon the earth. In this year, 1813, year of our Lord. So, go and investigate and make sure that doesn't bloody happen, eh? You guys know where, well, except for the American, the English know where Tarryford is. It's about a day's travel southeast of London. It's a middling village. There's a few aristocratic families that live there. Most prominently would be the Northlakes, who are stupendously wealthy, apparently have some connections to the gem trade.
Oh.
And so, you have some documents that Count Patrick provides you, the wild ravings of the witch, Carissa Habmeyer, detailing how the Northlake Manor will grow dark and disgorge horrors upon the earth, and the family is tied into, ancient evil, etc., etc. You guys have been a part of the Examination Association for a while, so that's pretty standard, really. You also all have invitations to the Northlake Ball, which will be held on September 18th, which is a few days from now. Plenty of time for you to get to Tarryford.
Before we do anything, Emma,
Yes.
When the tentacles come out, as they invariably will, this time, would you please not attempt to straddle them?
So the night passes uneventfully. You guys are going through the papers that the Count left you, drinking fine adult beverages. What? How old is Emma?
17. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's no law.
Drinking age.
There's no
in
drinking age in 1813.
Life expectancy was 35.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
She's middle-aged.
Yeah.
And a carriage is arranged to take you to Terryford. Now, I mean, is there anything you guys want to do in London before you leave?
Get married?
Aside from, I just imagine that Emma has tried to like get married like dozens of times.
Oh, yeah. Constantly. Today.
So James Bennett is skilled in library use.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think if you guys are cool with it, I think I'd like to just run a quick,
Google search.
yeah, basically doing some library research into North Lake itself.
Yeah, you can Dewey my decimal system.
That sounds good to me. You know what? I'm going to do my usual thing. I'm going to do the two things that help me whenever we're about to start out on an investigation. Number one, that of course is prayer and Bible study. Number two, I'm going to go down here and scream at the apothecary. Just makes me feel good.
Emma,
Okay.
my dear, would you like to accompany me to the library?
Yeah, Emma will accompany you to
Yeah.
the library.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you could investigate, try to find some of the records that might be in London about North Lake, the North Lake estate.
Yeah, just to basically see if there's anything in the public record and or newspaper stacks.
So I'll say you could use some T connections to aristocratic libraries around London. Do you want to use? I think library use sounds appropriate here.
Yeah. I have a library use skill of 50, so I guess I'm just trying to roll under that.
Yes.
Corey, does Emma have anything to maybe assist or anything like that?
She has embroidery. Would that help here? Colin?
Well, that's a really useful skill, so, but of course of no use.
Okay. But no, she doesn't have any
Okay.
skill whatsoever.
All right. Well, I'm going to just
Obviously,
raw dog this roll then.
Can't find a man.
I rolled a 14, so that is classified as a hard success.
So you find some information about North Lake Hall itself. The current North Lake Hall was built in 1705, but there has been an aristocratic residence on that site going back to the medieval period. The earliest records indicate there was a medieval manor house built on the same spot. No plans survive for it, but apparently it was mostly demolished in the 1500s, where a Tudor manor house was constructed, and then again enlarged and remodeled in the early 1600s. And of course, the current North Lake Hall in the modern style was built again early 1700s. So it would be classified as a quite old house.
Okay.
And there's not a ton on the North Lakes themselves. You find some indication of their connection to jewelry and gems.
Like the industry?
The industry,
Okay.
yes.
No, they invented them is what happened.
Well, I didn't know if it was about like just they own a bunch of them or if they are like a jeweler family.
He was actually referencing Jules and Jim, the Truffaut film.
Yes.
But that is most of what you can gather during the hours that you have before the three of you leave for Terryford, which is an idyllic carriage ride through the English countryside, as yet untroubled by the imminent comings of the Industrial Revolution, in which our green and beautiful England.
Is the
be
carriage
ruined.
driver hot?
He is a 70-year-old man,
Oh.
stooped over, a bit of an overbite. So you arrive in Terryford, a middling village of about 1,000 souls, on the afternoon of the day before the North Lake Ball.
By carriage rider.
I've
Oh, I love it. He can vulcanize my tires. Got to keep all options open, don't I?
I wish that character was more prominent, actually, Kyle. I have to say.
Oh, he's charming.
So he drops you at the Four Feathers, which is a public house and inn in Trafford where travelers can get a comfortable room for a reasonable price. The Examination Association, under the auspices of Count Ball's generosity, is covering all your expenses. You each get a room, and meals come with rooms. So, of course, you all have clothes for the ball tomorrow. You have the evening and most of the day. The carriage will return to take you to the North Lake Estate, North Lake Hall. But until then, you have some time to do what you wish. If you have no plans or desire to investigate anything until the ball itself, we can just cut to that. But is there anything you guys would like to do?
I'm assuming on our carriage ride into Terraford, we would have gotten a chance to kind of look around and note any landmarks that we might have wanted to make note of.
So surrounding Terraford is a lot of farms and estates. I mean, you note what you can, but one part of the English countryside looks much like the rest.
Except for that giant black obelisk with runes all over it.
Sure. I mean, yes.
That's humming.
Everybody always makes a big deal about the humming death obelisk of Terryford, but it's been here for 1,000 years, and aside from the occasional errant child, nobody's died. No, there are no giant humming
Just
death
piles
obelisks.
of dead birds around.
The moment you cross the boundaries into Terryford, the cat on the carriage just explodes. No, it is a scenic and otherwise uninteresting ride.
So we're in the pub, right?
You're in the the pub, the common room of the Four Feathers, which is a fairly sizable common room, about a dozen wood tables. This is the kind of establishment that does not have sawdust on the ground.
Okay.
So you're expected to drink here, but if you're going to get hammered, you go somewhere else.
Right.
This is middle class at minimum.
Okay. Emma still scans the room to see who's wearing a ring and who isn't.
Virtually everyone. This is in the 1830s or 1800s. So,
Well, their wives might die soon. That bartender, he's something else. He can pickle my herring, if you know what I mean.
So you do see the most prominent man there is a large man who you find out Mr. Morris Salsmith, the baker. He's heavy set, big arms, red face. Apparently been drinking all day.
Oh.
Oh, the old bag wants me back at the bakery, but I say just not for me, Han. Too much ale to drink.
Yeah, you don't need her.
What? And he's kind of drawn to him. Hello?
Fellas, he can bullseye my womp rat, if you know what I mean.
I'm going to step aside. It is time for my daily devotional, a.k.a. Get shit hammered.
While Emma's speaking to the baker, Bennett is just kind of looking around to see if there's like a little mini stage where the pub normally does mic nights or...
Wait, open mic nights.
Well, he is a poet, so yeah.
Always looking for an opportunity to spit.
So, well, I don't know if you're very familiar with English. A slam session is not what you would typically find in a public house.
No, I would imagine not, but I'm always looking for an opportunity to introduce these folks to culture.
Standard practice would be for any musician to stand on a chair in a corner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's not.
Oh,
Okay, carry on.
I
don't know why you hate these people.
Emma is going to ask the baker if he knows the North Lake family.
Yes, I sell bread to that man. Frederick comes to buy his bread for me.
Frederick, you say?
Yeah,
Single?
I guess.
He can darn my socks.
Have you ever met anyone from the family or just the butler?
Well, the North Lakes don't buy their own bread.
But you never see them around town?
Sir Northlake, Sir James comes every now and then.
James, you say?
Yes.
Single?
No.
Wife healthy?
He seems somewhat taken aback. I suppose.
He can shuck my ear of corn, if you know what I mean.
I don't understand what that means.
What sort of reputation do they have around town?
Quite good. They're quite good, Sir James. It's quite good. So the baker seems to intimate that the Northlakes are good people, respected, but you also get the feeling he doesn't actually know them. He's only ever met their servants. He's probably seen Sir James, but unlikely a man of Sir James Northlake's esteem would talk to the local baker.
Mr. Baker, I got a question for you. What is medical treatment like in this area? Do they depend on things such as morphine and opium, or is this more of a leech and bloodletting town?
Yes, tell me about these doctors. They can check my moles for melanoma, if you know what I mean.
Because the last time I got sick, they were like, you need to take some opium. And I was like, no, sirree. Quinine killed my sister back in America, and I am not going to play into the conspiracy for y'all to take over our minds. So please, if you would, just do like the logical thing, the medically sound thing, and cut my fucking arm open and let me bleed the sickness out.
Well, there's Dr. Parson and
Parson, you say?
the apothecary Carlton.
Apothecary
Yes.
Carlton. Tell me more.
Is your corset just pulled so tight it squeezes all the brains out?
He can scotch guard my hide-a-bed.
So he tells you there's a respected apothecary and a respected surgeon in town, and they use the latest in modern medicine:
Ooh.
axes and hammers.
Mercury.
Plague masks all over town.
Pour this laudanum in your sphincter.
So I'm trying to think of a good course of action for seeing if there's anything else for us to find out before we go.
Well, you could always pray about it.
First of all, it doesn't hurt us to let anybody know that we're invited to the ball, correct?
No, there are a few people in the public house right now that are
really?
going to the ball from out of town.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like weird outside. I mean, we're like, we're in the good public house. We're there for the bar. Well, absolutely, but we're there for the ball. I mean, we're not like sticking out like a sore thumb or anything, except for maybe the American.
So in Georgian England, when a young lady was newly eligible for marriage, it would be her coming out.
Like a debutante.
Kind of, I guess.
Kinda.
And so this is her coming out ball. So it's expected this will be the first ball, then she'll travel around England visiting other balls and galas to meet a suitor.
Okay.
Single, you say?
Yes, Miss Elizabeth Northlake is single.
Oh, she can leave my faucets running overnight to make sure the pipes don't freeze, if you know what I mean. It's cold.
Went over my head like a bag of biscuits.
So
That's the famous plumbing of 1813.
So James Bennett finds a corner of the room that has good visibility, and he pulls a chair over to it.
It makes that loud scraping sound as you pull it across the floor.
Yeah, so
that
I go ahead and draw attention as I...
completely quiets the room. That uncomfortable sort of, what is this guy doing quiet?
And I move to stand on the chair.
So there's a lot of smoke in the room. It's dimly lit, of course, because they're using candles.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Bennett, gentleman poet. Bit of a celebrity if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah. Through the ghoul-guarded gateways of slumber, past the wane-mooned abysses of night, I've lived o'er my lives without number, and never once won a fight. I struggle and shriek ere the daybreak of ice, and I'm driven to madness with the rolls of my dice. There we go. Thank you.
Oh,
I'll be performing other poetry at the ball at North Lake Manor tomorrow. I'll have merch set up in the entrance hall.
Do you have any sort of performance skill?
I don't know, and I don't know what any of that meant, but he can parse my sentence if you know.
Let's see.
Make a charm check, Austin.
Okay.
Charm this audience with your words.
Well, as with most poets, I have no charm.
Can you help in this game?
How are you? Well, I guess, how would you help, Corey?
Emma says, I'll be working the merch table. And I'm single and hot. You can try to draw me off sides on third and short, if you know what I mean. Yes.
Yeah, that'll be worth a reroll. Okay, Austin. Well, first off, let's roll your charm.
Okay.
Because you could have miraculous luck, as you're well known for.
Yeah.
And do quite well here. I believe in you.
Okay.
So what do you go for if you don't have a percentage of one of the skills?
So each one of these skills has a percentage in parentheses next to it.
Oh, I see.
I'm assuming that may be a default value.
If memory serves, that's just the default to the whatever the stat corresponding to the skill is.
Okay. So then if I don't have it, this 15% for charm is what I'm trying to beat. Would I be better off just trying to roll with my intelligence or...
No, I think you roll your 15% charm.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Well, that's a 65.
But he can re-roll, right? With
he can,
my
yeah.
tremendous help.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's an 86.
Hey.
Even worse.
So I guess the question is, what kind of fruit does the crowd throw at Bennett?
Well, I mean, these are all God-fearing Englishmen. So mainly they throw just blank stares.
And a cat.
And a cat. No one responds well to the poetry. Okay. You have not been in many quieter places. Finally, someone, perhaps out of pity, shouts, "God save the king!" And they all break out into shouting and drinking. And Bennett is quietly allowed to leave.
Ooh, I do love a shouter. He can Eli my Wallach, if you know what I am talking about. Ha ha, ta ta ta.
The ugly, we get it.
So the night continues uneventfully. You talk to a few more locals. None of them were impressed by the poetry.
Yeah.
Single, any of them?
Virtually none of them.
Yeah. So there's a chance, at least one of them. They can roll my D10.
And in the morning, the town is making preparations for the North Lake Ball. It is this big event. Everybody's very excited about it.
By the way, the Reverend Jennings, as the night goes on, gets drunker and drunker and spends most of his time shouting about how we kicked British ass in the American Revolution.
I mean, I would expect nothing less.
Which, weirdly enough, is more well-received than Bennett's poetry.
So, Todd, you could roll... Any of you guys could do this, except for Austin, who ruined his chances with his poetry. You could roll Charm or Persuade to pick up on some local gossip during your night of drinking. Emma could roll this as well.
I have a 50 in Persuade.
Emma has a 55 in Charm.
Okay.
Obviously.
Sure. Well, she's very charming.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so we're both rolling? Mm-hmm. Okay. Emma got a 47.
And Reverend Jennings rolled a 16.
So that's a super good success then.
Yeah.
The Reverend Jennings is talking to people, talking about the history of the North Lake family. Most people believe that the North Lakes have lived in this area before the town was even built in 1376. And indeed, the records that Bennett collected in London would indicate that there was a medieval construction of some kind. And as far as anyone knows, that the house has always been in the same place. But there's a great mystery around the North Lakes as to their connections to jewelers and gems. They just seem to have a supply that replenishes the family fortunes whenever economic tides run against them.
I would like to marry one of these people.
Emma finds out, talking to a few of the local ladies, the most famous piece of jewelry from the area is called the North Lake Jewel, appropriately. And it is a medieval brooch, and it's a family heirloom and supposed to be worth, by itself, a king's ransom. So, y'all retire to your rooms, you sleep, nothing attacks you in the night, wake up.
Ah, damn it.
It's England, so breakfast is quite boring.
Beans and such toast.
Pretty soon your carriage arrives to take you to North Lake.
There's my man.
The ball's in the evening, but there are festivities throughout the day. So I assume everybody's going.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You leave the Four Feathers, the carriage driver's there. How did you know? Get over here. I can tell you now. I can roll down that hill.
Charmed.
So the carriage driver who takes you to North Lake Hall. The house itself is this grand manor on a hill. You can see the town of Terryford in the distance. There's tents set up on the grounds, people in fine clothes walking through the gardens, children flying kites, and then there's the humming death column. No, you're let out in the circular drive out in front of the house. Servants greet you.
Oh,
and North Lake Hall itself looms over. You go in through the main entrance to North Lake Hall, this grand foyer. dark wood of the house interior, corridors stretching off in every direction, and for the three of you, an overwhelming sense of ominous, foreboding doom. And we'll end there for the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was our first taste of Regency Cthulhu, Eldritch Horror, the era of Jane Austen. I know it's our favorite author.
Well, I mean, she was the H.P. Lovecraft over time.
Well, being scorned was the height of horror.
Right.
Well, what could be worse? So how do you guys feel about being back in Jane Austen time?
I hate it. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things are fun. I mean, we've played the World War II Cthulhu. We played
Yeah.
the regular Cthulhu, which is the 20s. Is that right, Kyle?
Yeah. The default is the 20s.
Yeah. So I like Cthulhu throughout time. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I know, I think Modiphius has a Roman version coming out. I'm very excited for that.
Cohorts Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
And we did find, I think, at one point, a Western Cthulhu setting, didn't we?
Oh, probably. I know some of our Patreon members want us to play Delta Green,
Yeah, right.
which is basically like X-Files Cthulhu.
Oh,
okay.
cool.
I think you're like FBI agents or something.
Cool. Is there like a 70s Studio 54 version where it's just cocaine and Cthulhu?
I don't know, but I feel like we should make that game.
Yeah, for sure. Travolta,
Yeah.
PJ Souls.
Son of Sam.
Yeah, David Berkowitz is there.
Funnily enough, not the cultist.
Right.
Just a crazy person.
Yeah.
Is that Cthulhu? No, it's Quaaludes.
All right. So thank you to our Patreon members.
Thank you.
A few were mentioned in this episode, Patrick Ball and Chris Hadmeyer.
Yes, thank you both.
We'll be continuing the Long Corridor next session.
I would imagine there's going to be some Cthulhu-ness in the next episode.
Yes. Things will get eldritch, as the kids say.
No,
Fantastic.
strangely, My Little Pony-ish. I don't know.
Given how we played My Little Pony, it's
It's very true.
pretty accurate, actually.
Far more horror, far less poetry.
Cthulhu Equestria.
Apparently, the most horrifying thing about the long corridor is there's bird shit falling on it.
So yeah, we'll finish out the Long Corridor. Then we have something special planned, and eventually Fallout is coming too.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. That's going to be my first experience running a game.
Yeah, and you guys will get to see how bad I roll. So
And eventually, I will run a game. I already have the one in mind that I'm going to do, but we'll talk about that when the time comes.
Yeah.
yeah, it's My Little Pony. It's something that will be fun, I think. So thank you to our sponsor, Barrel and Bond.
Thank you, Barrel and Bond. That's a wonderful bourbon bar in downtown Paducah, 100 Broadway.
I enjoyed a very nice wild turkey rare breed there the other night.
Very
Delicious.
great atmosphere in that bar.
Except for the restrooms.
Yeah, there's
There's a
like
dude reading poetry in a chair at all times.
It's Austin.
in a constant fog. I don't understand where that comes from.
So yeah, if you're ever driving through Paducah, you should stop at Barrel and Bond. It is a legitimately
You definitely need to, because
good-
if you keep going, you will be in the Ohio River.
yes,
Because it's the last place before the river.
if you pass Barrel and Bond, stop.
Yes.
So thank you for listening. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.